Hello everyone. Congressman Tom Emmer has introduced a bill to restrict Federal Reserve from issuing money directly to individuals. And what that means is people like you and me cannot have an account directly with Federal Reserve. Today also we cannot have an account directly with Federal Reserve, that is central bank. Um, but this specific bill is around central bank digital currencies. Should they are issued, Federal Reserve shouldn't be allowed to directly issue money to the individuals. So yeah, let's go through this bill, what it is all about, and see how it restricts the Fed. Today I introduced a bill prohibiting the Fed from issuing a central bank digital currency directly to individuals. Here is why it matters. As other countries like China develop CBDCs that fundamentally omit the benefits and protections of cash, it is more important than ever to ensure the United States digital currency policy protects financial privacy, maintains the dollar's dominance, and cultivates innovation. Now, I did a video on CBDCs, and I'm going to put the link in description below. The financial privacy is already almost gone because, especially for those who do transactions using cards, because every transaction is logged via commercial banks. So commercial banks know exactly where your money is, um, how you are using it, what type of transactions you are performing. But having that retail relationship directly with Fed centralizes it further. So then there will be all the transactions will be going through a single entity, and yeah, it will not be good from privacy perspective, especially if cash is completely banned, because cash provides anonymity, and if cash is banned, then all the transactions must go through Federal Reserve CBDC system, and hence they can be tracked. CBDCs that fail to adhere to these three basic principles could enable an entity like Federal Reserve to mobilize itself into a retail bank, collect personally identifiable information on users, and track their transactions indefinitely. So as I said, CBDCs, if they are implemented through Federal Reserve, then all the transactions will be flowing through their system, and hence can be tracked indefinitely. But even if the implementation is not directly with Federal Reserve and it is with, let's say, commercial banks, and again there is no cash component, then also all the transactions will have to go through the banking system, and they would still be tracked. And mind you, the central entities, whether it's Federal Reserve or the government, they can enforce or bring regulations like, to share that information with the government or the central entities. So commercial banks can become a tool in the hands of central entities, and in which case also um, the privacy will be lost. So it's all about how the CBDC is implemented. Not only does the CBDC model raises single point of failure issues, um, I don't quite agree with this. I think even if you implement it directly with Fed, You can have in there are enough feds in the world, in the United States, sorry, not on the world. I mean, there is that New York Fed, Minneapolis, and that Cleveland. um, yeah, there are so many of them, and you can have your system distributed enough that there is no single point of failure. um, it by just because you don't want single point of failure, and hence we need to use commercial banks, is not really a sound logic in my view. Leaving Americans' financial information vulnerable to attack, but it could be used as a surveillance tool that Americans should never be forced to tolerate from their own government. Like I said, I don't quite agree with this. I think um, the just to avoid single point of failure, and provide more redundancy, you want it through commercial banks, is not a sound logic enough, in my view. And as I explained in my earlier point, commercial banks can also become a surveillance tool in the hands of central bank and the government. So I don't again quite agree with the second statement also. Again, as I said, it all depends on how it is implemented, what sort of controls are implemented, that can maintain the privacy of transactions. That is what is more important, rather than I would say the architecture of it. I mean, architecture is also important, but the point is the architecture should include the privacy controls. Requiring users to open an account at the Fed to access a central United States CBDC would put the Fed on an insidious path akin to China's digital authoritarianism. 100% agree. I think, yeah, with China, as I said, everything is with the central bank, or POBC, um, People's Bank of China, PBOC, sorry, PBOC, and similar sort of architecture in the United States would not be good. Any CBDC implemented by the Fed must be open, permissionless, and private. Yes, this statement I 100% agree with. It should be open on a ledger. Every transaction should be open to everyone, and should be part of a blockchain or ledger. It should be permissionless. Nobody should stop you from making any transaction, or a transaction. And it should be private. Yes, so it should have that anonymity component that cash provides. This means that any digital dollar must be accessible to all, transact on a blockchain that is transparent to all, and maintain a privacy elements of cash. Yep, very 100% agree, very much agree. In order to maintain the dollar status as world's reserve currency in a digital age, it's important that United States lead with a posture that prioritizes innovation and does not aim to compete with the private sector. Yep. Simply put, we must prioritize blockchain technology with American characteristics, rather than mimic China's digital authoritarianism out of fear. Agree with that as well. Now, this is a very good start in the right direction, but I don't think it goes far enough. I think there are still loopholes around. What if the transactions are programmable? In other words, the cash or the money in the account can be made expiring, or it can be forced to be used for only certain type of transaction and not other type of transactions. And what if central banks ban the cash component completely and introduce negative interest rates? So yeah, it doesn't go far enough to address a lot of other issues, but nevertheless a good step. I completely I'm completely for it. Now I don't know whether this will pass or not, but It's a good effort. And I'll put the link of my CBDC video in the description as well, should you guys want to go through that. Please share, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.